All right, here's part 2 of your video. We did circle graphs, so now we're going to go ahead and get into the box and whisker. Okay, so a box and whisker. It's a box and it has whiskers. Okay, I call it a box plot sometimes as well. Go ahead and press pause so you can write down the definitions of everything here, and then I'll go over each definition before I get into the example. Okay, so press pause and press play when you're ready. All right, so what is a box plot? A box plot displays data distribution using 5 key numbers. Okay, so I'm going to show you those 5 key numbers. They're the ones down here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's these 5 down here. Now, you are going to also have to know what IQR is. IQR stands for Interquartile Range. Okay, so you remember how we found range before? Found the biggest number, subtracted the smallest number. But here we're doing the interquartile range. So here I want to know the range in the quartiles, okay? And that's where you're going to understand what quartiles are here in a little bit, okay? Now, the interquartile range, you find the exact same way you find regular range, but we're doing the quartiles, okay? So it's the difference between the first and third quartiles, and I'll show you exactly what those are, all right? Now, definitions. You are going to have a minimum. Okay, the minimum is the smallest piece of data. So it's the smallest number in your whole entire data set. Okay, self-explanatory there. And then you have the first quartile, Q1. This is the median or the middle of the lower half of the data. Okay, so these two right here is what we call the lower quartile. Okay, first quartile, lower quartile. So the lower quartile can also be called the first quartile or Q1, but it's the median of the lower half of the data. Okay. Then we have the median, just the median. The median is the median of the entire data set. So I have all my data, boom, there's the median. Okay. Now quartile 1, okay, so here's my median, right? Here's my lower part. I'm going to take these numbers over here, and find the median of this group. That's quartile 1, okay? And then quartile 3 takes the higher end of the numbers, okay? And I find their median. That's quartile 3, what we call the upper quartile. So a box and whisker is pretty much a median, then a median, and a median again, okay? And I'm going to show you how that, hopefully it makes more sense when I show you a picture of it, okay? And the maximum, it's the largest piece of data, okay? So it's the biggest number in data set. So if you want to find the range, these are pretty easy because I identify the minimum and the maximum and you just subtract. But if I want to find the interquartile range, I have to subtract the third quartile number from the first quartile number, or vice versa, you know what I mean? Okay, so you subtract those two and you'll find the interquartile range. So let me show you what this looks like. So let me move it here because you're going to have to know those words still. Go ahead and draw that, okay? So I have a number line going by 5, so 5, 10, 15, 20. I put the 4 dashes in between. I have a dot here. Then I have the box. Let me help you out as you're drawing. This dot is above the 2. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. This line is on the 12. That one's on the 15. That's on the 17. And that's on the 20. Okay. So go ahead and press pause and then press play when you're ready. Now let me explain how this works. Okay. So the minimum is easy to find. All right. So this right here, let's see, I use blue for minimum. So I want to make sure I keep the colors the same. So this right here is the minimum. Okay. It's the smallest piece of data. So 2 is my minimum. It's the smallest piece of data. Then the next one, I'll go to the maximum. The maximum is the biggest piece of data. So in this case, it is the 20. So this is called the maximum. Okay, so minimum, maximum, pretty easy. Now, median is the number in the middle. Your median is this line right here. This right here is called the median. Okay, so they ask you which one is the median. It literally is the line in the middle. Okay, so that line separates your data into two equal parts. I have the lower part and I have the upper part. Okay, now they look different. Like this is longer than this one. Okay, this one's longer than that one, but they actually have the same amount of numbers in each section. Okay, because what a median does, it takes your data and puts it into two equal groups. Now, why does it look different? It's because I'm putting it over a number line. So maybe I have 4 numbers in each group, but maybe in this group I have a number 2 and then it jumps to number like 9, 10. Okay, so the only reason it looks different is because I'm stretching the numbers above a number line. All right, so this means some numbers were either far apart. Okay, this one right here, why are they so close together? Maybe I have some numbers that have been repeated. Okay, but you remember the median does separate it into two equal parts. All right, now once you separate into two equal parts, this line right here is quartile 1. Okay, and this is the median of the lower half. So like I said, the median cuts it into two equal parts. Now I'm going to look at the lower numbers only. Okay, from the median to number 2. I'm going to separate that into two equal parts. Okay, and that's what I call Q1, or the lower quartile. So this is my lower quartile right here. Okay, kind of get it? Let's look at the upper part. Okay, so let me talk about the second part. So remember, the median cut into two equal parts. The lower part, I did the median again, and that's how I got Q1. Now the upper part, from the median to number 20, I'm going to find the median of those numbers. So I go with my little, my lines when I hash them off. And this right here is Q3. That is the median of the upper half. Okay, that is called the upper quartile. So everything is separated into 4 equal parts. Again, if you split something by the median, you have 2 equal parts. You split the lower half by a median, you have another equal part. You split the upper half by the median, you have another equal part. Okay, so that's why you half, half, half. Now I have a fourth. Okay, so this is 1/4 of my data. This is a fourth of my data. This one's a fourth, and that one's a fourth. And the only reason they look different, okay, is because the numbers might be spread apart, all right, but they all have the same amount of numbers, okay, the same amount of numbers. So if they ever ask you what percent of your data is represented here, okay, this is 100% of my data. I just put it into this box plot. This part from the minimum to Q1 represents 25% of my data, 25%. In my Q1 to the median, that is also 25% of my data. From the median to Q3, that represents 25% of my data. And from Q3 to the maximum, oops, you can't see it there, 25% of my data. Okay, I'll make that look prettier, sorry. Okay, 25% of my data. So everything is 25%. So a question they can ask you would be, what percent of your data is above 12? Well, here's 12. 25, 50, 75% of my data is above 12. Okay? So if they ever ask you for percent, you don't have to do a percent proportion. Just remember, everything is quarters. Everything is 25%. Okay? Now, let's identify those 5 main numbers. Okay? So, let's take a look at the IQR. The IQR, interquartile range, is the difference of Q3. So here's Q3. It's above the 17. And Q1 is 12. Okay? So you're going to take the quartile, Okay, I just want to know what is the range in the boxes, in other words. What's the range in the boxes? So I have 17 right here, and I have 12 right here. So all I have to do is subtract, and I get a range of 5. That's it. Okay, but if they want the interquartile range, they want what is the range in the boxes and the quartiles. Okay, not the overall range, just the range in the boxes. Okay, all right. The minimum, we kind of identified that. My minimum is right here. It is a 2. Okay, the maximum, the biggest number in my data set, is a 20. The median, the number in the middle, we're just looking for the line that separates everything in half, is right here, and that's at the 15. The overall range, okay? When they ask for the overall range, I want the minimum and the maximum and subtract them, okay? So the maximum is 20. The minimum is 2, which gives you a range of 18. 18. Okay, so the ranges are different, all right? Quartile range, I want the difference between the boxes. Range, I just want the difference in your whole data, okay? Let's see. Q1, what number represents Q1? I told y'all it was 12. And Q2, or Q3, sorry, is represented by 17. And then what's the percent above the lower quartile? Well, the lower quartile is quartile 1. So here's quartile 1. They want to know the percent above it, so I'm going to the right. Okay, above is to the right, below is to the left. So I have 25% plus another 25% plus another 25%. So think of counting quarters. 25, 50, 75%. Just like that. Okay? And that's pretty much all there is to it, is those quarters and then knowing the definitions, the vocabulary, okay? So go ahead and copy this down and press play. When you're ready, we'll do these. Okay, got it? All right. What is the IQR? Remember the quartiles. This is quartile 1. This is quartile 3. Okay, so I'm going to take those, the boxes, and I'm going to find the range of the boxes. Okay, so Q3 is 35. Q1 is 20. So 35 minus 20 is 15. So the IQR is 15. Okay, so remember this one is the boxes. All right. Next one. What percent of the data is above the upper quartile? Well, let's identify the upper quartile. Do you remember it? It's the one above the median. So this is the upper quartile. And it wants the percentage. No percent proportion here. Because if you remember, everything here is 25%. So if I want to know the above the upper quartile, I'm going to cover up all of this. I just want to know this much. So the percent that's above it is 25%. So 25%. Okay. And then the range. Okay, this one they're just asking for the overall range. That means what is your maximum is 40 and your minimum is 10, which gives you 30. The range is 30. Okay. So this one is a lot of vocabulary. You just have to know and identify the correct ones, okay? But the percentages are a lot easy. Everything is 25%, so it should be easy. So let me go ahead and give you your try it out. So you can try them and see how you do, okay? To help you out when you draw it, this is above the 3. This is above the 6. This one's above the 9, 10, and 18. Okay, so go ahead and press pause and try it out. All right, let's see how you did. So here the minimum should have been 3. This is the minimum. That is 3. The maximum is right here. Here's the maximum. That was 18. So far, so good. The range is the difference between the two. So 18 minus 3, 15. Got that one? Okay. Now let's do the median. The median is right here. And that was at the 9. Interquartile range. Let's see. Oh, that's supposed to be Q3. That is my fault. Q3. Sorry. Okay, go ahead and fix it now if you need to. All right, interquartile range. I'm going to go ahead and do these first. So Q1 is 6 and Q3 is 10. And I did that first because to find the interquartile range, I just subtract them. So it'll be 10 minus 6. That way I just do less work. And that'll give me 4. Oops, hold on. All right. So sorry about that. What percent of data is above the median? Okay, so here's my median. And if you remember, this is 25%. This is 25%. 25%. Ooh. And 25%. So above the median would be 25 plus 25, 50%. Half is above the median. Okay, so see how you did on that one. All right. If you need any help, come on by the Google Meet so I can help you guys. Okay. Check out the bonus videos I have there. Also, hopefully those help you out. They show you a little bit differently and just have another point of view. So there's so many different ways of doing math. All right. Y'all have a great day and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.